Denver won the toss. They deferred. They want to put their defense out first. Both these teams with a lot of problems stopping the other team from scoring. They can both put up points, but giving up points has been the nemesis of both.
You're exactly right, Don. Both these teams ranked toward the bottom of the bunch when you look at all the really important defensive stats. Points being number one. No team has given up more points than Denver. Defensively, 415 points. And Houston not far behind. So these teams are a quarterback's dream in terms of going out there knowing going into the game you got a chance to put up some big numbers.
Hauschka ready to kick off now for the Broncos. Steve Slayton is back, and he'll take it at the 2 at the goal line. It carries deep. 15, cut back move, gets to the 20. Pretty much a win for special teams coverage of the Broncos, and now Matt Schaub leads the Texans offense out. Number 8 from Virginia, 4th in the NFL in passing yardage. He is a very productive guy. Took a lot of hits last week in a loss. Over 3,800 yards passing this year, though. 22 times he's thrown for touchdowns.
And nobody other than Peyton Manning in the NFL the last 2 seasons has produced anything close to what Matt Schaub has done. So he's the guy that really has established himself as a legitimate big-time quarterback.
3 years at Atlanta, who drafted him, now in his 4th year with the Texans. To the run early. Broncos are all over it. Stop is made. Is coming up to make the hit is DJ Williams as we look at the rest of the Texans on offense. Eric Winston, an important part of their pass protection at right tackle. Looking at their skill position players, Owen Daniels is a very important guy. Missed a lot of games this year with an injury. He's back, and he opens up the middle of the field for Schaub.
And again, minus Andre Johnson, Jacoby Jones is the guy that has not done a whole lot this year for the Houston Texans. They expect big things.
Again the run. Again the Broncos are all over it. Broncos run defense has been blistered of late, but not today so far. If you look at their down 3, Justin Bannon, they're looking to get some pass rush out of him from the right end position. Linebacker core, Hagan's been a very productive player. He is 5 sacks to lead the team.
You talk about getting blistered too, Don. Last week against the Oakland Raiders, Denver gave up 264 yards rushing, including on the very first play of the game, a 71-yard touchdown to Jacoby Ford.
Now a penalty marker goes down. Ball is thrown out to the 25-yard line on a crossing pattern, but let's see what the call is. Ron Winter, our official. Nate Jones was on the stop on the play as Daniels comes across.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Offense. The penalties decline. Makes it 4th down.
Well, slow starts have been the Achilles heel for Gary Kubiak and the Houston Texans all year. A 3 and out right here to start this game. Not what they were looking for. They're really in the habit of starting so slowly. They get behind. It's hard for them to get into their normal game plan because they're trailing already.
Yes, he told us, Steve, he said that first quarter is our demon. Gary Kubiak. Here's a high punt hit downfield by Turk. Coming up on it is Eddie Royal, and the Broncos will start with good field position for their first possession. And here comes Tim Tebow. Guy is box office. 25th player picked in the draft, the Heisman Trophy winner at Florida, 2 national championship teams. He's a beloved guy, Steve, wherever he goes.
Oh, I mean, everywhere he goes, everybody you talk to, you hear the same things. I mean, you cannot help but love everything he stands for. And a lot of people are rooting for him to prove that he can play at this level as well.
Big, strong guy, 6'3", 245. He's going to throw on first down. They set up a beautifully executed screen pass, and the Broncos are on the run. Inside the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. Noshawn Moreno gets the swing pass down there. They set up that bubble screen, and a 23-yard gain.
Set up beautifully. A great first play call by Mike McCoy, offensive coordinator. Tim Tebow, good play action, and then finds his receiver out there in the open, and a big block by Chris Cooper, the right guard, popping Noshawn Moreno for the big gainer on the first play.
Tebow now goes to the shotgun. Another screen, other side. Big yards again. Could go the distance. And the ball is live on the field. Looks like the Broncos got it for even more yards off the fumble.
Well, that was Jabbar Gaffney on the reception. Another very quick hit and screen pass from Tim Tebow. These are the kind of things that I think you're going to see a lot of with Tim Tebow. And as NFL defenses get more and more familiar with him, you see Jabbar Gaffney picked up 21 yards on that play and then fumbled, unfortunately recovered by one of his teammates. But it'll be interesting to see how NFL defensive coordinators adjust to the strengths of Tim Tebow, which we're seeing right now.
And Steve, Eddie Royal with a big block for the Broncos on that play. 26 total yards on the pass, catch, run, and then the fumble for more yards. And now a throw to the end zone is picked off. So Tebow puts it in the wrong place, and the very well executed opening drive ends in a screeching halt. Jason Allen makes the pick in the end zone for the Texans. How about it, Steve Berline? Yeah, you were concerned about Tebow making the mistake, and he made one early after some terrific plays earlier in the drive.
Well, the two quick screen passes, anybody can do that. That's not a problem. When you see a throw like that last one for Tim, it was just a very poorly thrown football.
Now the Texans come out running again, and out to the 25-yard line is the NFL's leading rusher. Arian Foster comes in with almost 1,350 yards. He got 5 on that.
Well, you're going to see there's great coverage on Brandon Lloyd right there by Jason Allen. And in that situation, you want to put that ball up high, let Brandon Lloyd go up and get it, or put it on the back shoulder. But you never throw it low and inside on a fade route down by the end zone. That ball just got away from him, and that's one of the things that's going to have to be proven over time, that he can make that kind of throw.
And that was really in the wrong place. And now the Texans go back to the run. Cutback move. Arian Foster, a phenomenal success story. Unrestricted free agent out of Tennessee in his second year. 1,345 yards coming into this game. Number 1 in the NFL. 60 receptions. He is playing with injuries, though. And I think that was evident, Steve, last week. He had only 15 yards and 11 carries.
He did only have 15 yards and 11 carries. But when you look at that film, that Tennessee Titans defense just dominated up front on the Houston Texans offense. I don't think if Arian Foster even was 100%, it would have made much of a difference, because there was penetration, and that's the challenge for Houston today.
Schaub gets time, running out of it. Looking to go somewhere, and he has to throw the ball away. Good coverage by the Broncos. And again, the Texans have to send out their punter, Matt Turk.
Another 3 and out. You know, last week, their first couple of drives, they had a total of 7 plays, only 32 yards, but they were down 21-0 at that point to Tennessee, who scored on their first 3 possessions. Gary Kubiak has been incredibly frustrated. We talked about a couple years ago, it was 3rd down struggles coming out after halftime. This year, the first quarter has been a nightmare.
Kubiak, a revered figure here in Denver, the backup QB for 9 years to John Elway, the coordinator on the 2 Denver teams that won Super Bowls. Eddie Royal gets a block and turns the corner, and Eddie Royal's on the run across the 40-yard line. 50-yard punt, 19-yard return. Cassius Vaughn, big on that return. Great block by Cassius Vaughn, sprung Eddie Royal on that 19-yard punt return, and now the Broncos with their second possession, starting from their 41, 1st and 10. Tebow engineered his team down the field through the end zone interception on the first possession. Marino, not much. Damian Lewis, the lead tackler on the play for the Texans. As we look at a revised playoff picture, New England has clinched home field advantage in the AFC. 13-2 after a rout win at Buffalo today. Pittsburgh has clinched a playoff berth. Baltimore and Jacksonville have gone to overtime. If Jacksonville should win that game, the Jets would be in, even though they lost to the Bears today as a wild card team.
Yeah, the Jaguars and the Redskins down in Jacksonville, where there was actually snow flurries, believe it or not, this morning. But the Redskins and the Jaguars are tied up down there. If the Jags win, then obviously they're still in the hunt. They have to win next week and hope for help from Indianapolis by them losing 1 game. But if they lose, the Jets, even though they lost, are in the playoffs.
Playoffs coming more into focus now as we come down the stretch run. Tebow from the shotgun. Quick out, sets up the screen again. Good blocks. Jabbar Gaffney. First down. 11-yard gain for the Broncos.
Well, don't think it's easy. I don't mean to make it seem as though these kind of plays are easy, because they're not. You've got to be very athletic, as Tim Tebow is, to get that ball out of there on time, on the money. And that's what seems to be working right now against this Texans defense. But at some point, we're going to have to see Tim Tebow making plays from the pocket up the field, and that's what's going to determine whether or not he can play in this league.
He's going to throw again. A good fake, and there is Tebow on the run, and he's hit after a very short gain on first down, maybe a yard inside the 45-yard line.
And you're seeing right now how protective the Denver Bronco teammates of Tim Tebow are. When he gets hit, they're all over there to make sure that nobody gets a little extra rough on Tim Tebow. You're going to see Brian Cushing, who told us this week when he sees a quarterback running with the football, his eyes get big. And any way you slice it, even though Tim Tebow is more like a running back when he runs the football, he is a quarterback, and those guys are going to take a shot when they get a chance.
There is Cushing. Yeah, it says when a quarterback runs in this league, a defender's eyes light up. Marino, good move to the corner, bouncing outside. Not done. Penalty marker in as he gets to a 40-yard line. Now let's see what the marker is. Tackle again by Cushing, who was the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Year a season ago. He had 133 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. This year, 66 tackles so far. Sat out the 4-game suspension. But still one of the best young linebackers in the game.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 81. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Yeah, Richard Quinn, it was kind of late in the play. Noshawn Marino had already made his good cut to the outside. You see right there, Richard Quinn pushing from behind. And that was no doubt a big influence on the play. That was Glover Quinn that was getting pushed from behind. Richard Quinn should know better than that. I don't care what level you play at. You can't push a player from behind.
So Quinn comes out. Lance Ball goes in. They send in a new package now on 2nd and long. 2nd down and 17 for the Broncos. Buckhalter. He gets to midfield. Last week it was supposed to be a running back draw to Buckhalter. Missed the exchange. Tebow did to Buckhalter. Then Buckhalter kept going and made a block, and Tebow ended up on a quarterback draw.
It was really an amazing play by Buckhalter, because it was called as a draw to Buckhalter, but Tebow came out and basically said in his mind he thought it was a quarterback draw, and so he took it up in there. Buckhalter did a great job leading him through the hole, and then the rest is history.
40-yard touchdown run. There's that screen again, and again it's open for business as they get it down inside the 45-yard line of the Texans, down to the 42.
Well, I like the creativity that Mike McCoy is showing, finding different ways to get the ball from Tim Tebow to his playmakers with good, quick, safe passes. 3rd and 14. There aren't many plays that anybody, and there you see Mike McCoy, there aren't many plays in anybody's playbook where you can really count on picking up 15 yards. So right there with a young quarterback, put him in a position where you might get a big play with the right defensive look, but don't put him in a position to make a bad play.
So now the Broncos punt. Jacoby Jones is back at his 10-yard line for the Texans. Well-placed punt. Jones signals the fair catch and makes it at the 8. Well done by the Broncos. 33-yard punt and no return on the fair catch.
Each year, you know, you try to get some guys to come out and help give back. But these people are less fortunate than we are. You know, they're in a situation where they need a helping hand, and I want to be a part of it, and I try to encourage others to do it as well.
Champ Bailey hosted the annual Broncos holiday party at the Crossing, which is a transitional living facility in Denver. Each family in attendance in the Crossing facility of the Denver Rescue Mission enjoyed a traditional holiday meal, received a special holiday gift bag, and a lot of good fellowship from the Broncos. Many of them were there. Here's a throw to the near side. And the Texans get their first down of the day, and it's a good one. As Owen Daniels is still running all the way out across the 35-yard line to the 40. Dreesen, a double tight end formation, 85, had a big block, a 31-yard gain.
Nice play right there. They came with the blitz. You saw Brian Dawkins, number 20, coming off the edge. Daniels ready for the quick throw. Matt Schaub on the money. Owen Daniels, this is his third game back from taking an extended break due to still needing time to recover from the devastating knee injury last year. Coaches are really happy to have him back playing well.
Beautifully thrown ball by Schaub on a slant pattern to midfield and to the 49-yard line of the Broncos. So consecutive first downs on consecutive pass plays. There is the final. The Redskins prevail over the Jaguars in overtime.
That means the New York Jets are in the playoffs. They've clinched a wild card spot. And Jacksonville obviously needs a little bit of help from Indianapolis. San Diego didn't get much help from Kansas City today.
Kansas City, blowout winner. Now the run play again. Both these teams, Steve, have tightened up their run defense, which has really been very weak in the recent games. Jamal Williams, the longtime San Diego Charger, 3 times a Pro Bowl player with them. First year with Denver makes the stop.
Arian Foster's lucky to have his head on still. Jamal Williams right there with the clothesline. I'll tell you, it is rough sledding in there between the tackles. Jamal Williams, very athletic play right there.
Laying up to the center, Chris Myers. Schaub, another beautifully timed throw, and again it's to Owen Daniels, the 5th-year tight end from Wisconsin. An 8-yard gain on the play. The Texans' slow starts are well documented. The first quarter has been a disaster for them. Look at how they've been outscored by 60 points in the first quarter.
Well, and the thing that's worked in their favor today is that Denver has not gotten on the board yet. They're not trailing. They're able to still feel comfortable in their offense, but there is no rhyme or reason for it. Gary Kubiak is baffled as anybody, but it seems as though on this third series they're finding the rhythm a little bit.
Very much so. They're 5th in total offense are the Texans in the NFL. Now a gap, and in the open field inside the 20. And heading down very close to the goal line, but not in, is Arian Foster. Dreesen again with a big block, a 33-yard run.
Well, you're going to see a great job. They shifted Owen Daniels over to the right side, and you see Wade Smith, the left guard, pulling around, made a nice kick-out block, a huge hole off the right side for it. Look at that hole. That is a nice hole for Arian Foster. He doesn't need that much space to get through. You give him a lane like that, you're going to pay the price.
Almost a hold on Dreesen, but it's ruled a clean block, and now the Texans are challenging for the first points of this day. Foster, he's in, and Houston takes the lead. They were 3 and out on their first 2 possessions, but they look great on this drive.
Then it clicks a little bit for them. All of a sudden, that's Arian Foster's 16th touchdown of the season, 14th rushing touchdown of the year, leading the NFL. Look at the patience. The play was designed to go up inside. He didn't get flustered, didn't get panicked, bounces it outside, and once he got to the edge, he knew he had it made.
Now Neil Rackers comes out to try the point after for the Texans. Pretty remarkable numbers he's put up, Steve. He 50 times in succession has made a field goal for 45 yards or less. That's hard to believe.
That's not many guys can say that.
He hits the extra point, up and good. And the Texans come alive on their 3rd possession. 91 yards on 6 plays. 40 of the yards rushing by Foster, including the touchdown run. Don Criqui with Steve Berline back at Denver, Colorado. The Texans with one of their best drives of this season. 91 yards and 6 plays. Schaub was 3 of 3 throwing for 51 yards. Foster ran for the other 40, including the touchdown. And it's 7-0 Texans as they kick off to the Broncos. Eric Decker. He's had a 51-yard kickoff return, this rookie from Wisconsin. Coughs up the ball, and the Texans are after it, Luke. The Broncos keep it. Will be Broncos ball. So a nervous moment for the Denver Broncos, but they do have the ball, down 7-0 to the Texans. Denver Broncos are ready to go. Down 7-0 first quarter here in Denver. Rookie All-American from Florida. Tim Tebow, another play fake. Long ball downfield, right on target of the 41. It's a big gainer to Brandon Lloyd. His 68th catch of the year, good for a 19-yard gain. You have to like that throw, Steve.
Now that's the kind of stuff you want to see. The nice play action pass, setting strong in the pocket, finding his receiver, and putting the ball on the money. Now that's the kind of throw that Tim Tebow has to show he can make on a regular basis to prove he can play at this level. That was very nice right there.
19-yard gain, sets up a first down at the Broncos 41. Again, run play is shut down by the Houston defense. If you thought the fantasy season was over, it's not. Play NFL.com Playoff Challenge today. You could win a trip to Super Bowl 46 in Indianapolis. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy or search NFL Playoff Challenge. Sean Cody on the last stop for the Texans, and now it's 2nd down and 10. Tebow caught. He's strong, gets it away, and it's not going to be grounding because there was a receiver near the ball as Eddie Royal was in the area. So Tebow, Steve, lives to play another down. Looked like they had him.
Well, that was a tremendous play by Antonio Smith. We got Ron Winter's going to tell us something here.
Started with forward motion, therefore it is an incomplete pass.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Tebow was out of the pocket. Smart, heady play to get rid of that football right there and not take the sack. Now, I think Tim Tebow's used to breaking out of that tackle in college, but at this level, there's a little bit different caliber athlete across the board. That was Antonio Smith hanging on and forcing Tebow to get rid of that football.
3rd down. Tebow has to hit it. Takes a look. He's on the run. He won't get there. And another hard hit put on him.
That was Cushing again.
His eyes did light up.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And we talked to Tim Tebow about this. Let's listen to this hit, and then we'll make a comment on it.
Yeah.
Man. Now, Tim Tebow is a big, strong person. He's not playing in the SEC anymore, and that's no disrespect to the SEC. Everybody on this field can hit, and they're not afraid of a 245-pound quarterback running up in there. He's going to take some shots, and he's going to have to get used to it.
Britton Colquitt hits another punt. Colby Jones coming up on the ball and gets it at the 13-yard line. Good special teams coverage brings him under inside the 15-yard line. Terrific play by Daniel Coates. Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp, and Phil Simms come your way on cable's longest-running show, the multi-award-winning Inside the NFL, every Wednesday on Showtime. Matt Shaw, out of the University of Virginia, was a 3rd-round draft choice of Atlanta back in '04 and was subsequently traded to the Texans. Career 91 quarterback rating. That's excellent. Traded to the Texans in March of '07. Big guy, 6'5", 240. And he was terrific on that last touchdown drive. Both these teams with weaknesses in run defense, but not today for the most part.
No, but we did see a couple of seams against the Denver Broncos defense that last drive. The 33-yard run to Arian Foster. That was the 19th run of over 20 yards that the Denver Broncos defense has given up.
As we're winding down and out now at the end of the first quarter, the Houston Texans, who've lost 7 of their last 8, hold a 7-0 lead at Denver. Matt Shaw and the Houston Texans with a 7-0 lead. They look to put up a lot of points on a Denver defense that's 31st in yards allowed, 1 from the bottom, and 32nd and last in points allowed this year. Broncos giving up almost 30 points a game. Broncos come with a blitz. Shaw burns it. Across the 30, on the run, Jacoby Jones a long way from done as Jones is inside the 40-yard line and down to the 38.
Well, you called it right, Don. That was An all-out blitz by Denver. Matt Schaub knew exactly where his safety valve was, Jacoby Jones. Now, Jacoby Jones is not a small receiver. 47-yard gain right there. He knows what to do with the football. He's been bumped up by injuries all season long, but the last few weeks he's been healthy, starting to show flashes of the kind of playmaking ability that this Texans coaching staff has always known he's had. Big play right there.
Texans offense struggled early. Now they're looking really good. Hitting Schaub all day long, shooting the long ball downfield on target at the 5. Beautifully thrown ball to Jacoby Jones for a 33-yard gain. First and goal, Texans.
Don, one of the staples of the Gary Kubiak offense is the good, hard play action. You're going to see right there, when you got a running back like Arian Foster, the defense has to react. And then Matt Schaub does a great job of knowing when to set up and how to use the field to get the ball to his wide receivers. Nice route by Jacoby Jones and a very well executed play across the board.
Foster looking for a cutback lane, and he gets down to about the 3. He is the game's only score of the day on a touchdown run. Tackles by Woodyard and Ronaldo Hill for the Broncos. But right now, Houston's offense is dominating the Denver defense.
Well, we're documenting how much of a struggle it's been for this Denver defense all year. That last pass play right there was the 73rd play against this Denver defense of over 20 yards on the season. That's absolute last in the NFL. So they've got a very young secondary giving up a lot of plays.
Giving up a lot of plays, a lot of yards, and now a penalty marker is thrown in by the umpire. Often signals an offensive hold. We'll see. Mario Hagan was on the stop. Here's Ron Winter.
Holding. Defense number 91.
Defense. It was holding the other way.
And an automatic first down.
Ronald Fields, they called holding on.
Big nose tackle, 91, so Coach Studesville.
All right, you're going to see him right over the center right there. And one of the things that a defensive lineman will do if he feels like he's getting double teamed, he'll grab on to try and pull that offensive lineman toward him to not allow him to get up on the linebacker. That was right there, caught against Fields.
Foster, doors slam. Broncos stop it cold. Lead tackler again, Mario Hagan.
That was a great job by Mario Hagan and Brian Dawkins. Nowhere to run for Arian Foster. You can see up front there was penetration immediately by Ryan McBean, number 98, and that forced Arian Foster to cut right back into the teeth, led by Mario Hagan.
Second down and goal. Matt Schaub under center.
Watch Owen Daniels here. This is a great opportunity to get him the ball.
Play fake. Schaub throws. And in the end zone is none other than the aforementioned Mr. Berline's suggestion. It was Owen Daniels.
Yeah, he's so good coming out of the play action fake, and you had Matt Schaub rolling that way right there. It's a hard matchup for a defense, anybody on defense, whether you put a linebacker or a safety on him. Owen Daniels is so quick when he's healthy coming out of his breaks, and the great hands. Nice ball by Matt Schaub. That was a linebacker on Owen Daniels. That was DJ Williams. That's a tough matchup for him. Reason being, they got to respect the run so hard. With that good fake, no chance.
Extra point. Hit up and good by Rackers in that drive. 2 big plays to Jacoby Jones. Pass plays of 47 and 34 yards. And the Texans take command. Texans with 2 terrific drives. Their last 2 possessions. That one was 86 yards and 6 plays. Previous one was 91 yards and 6 plays for a touchdown as they take early command of this game. 14-0 at Denver. Here's the kickoff. Parrish Cox lets it go out of the end zone for a touchback. And Tim Tebow and the Broncos will have the long field to go. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher For all the latest NFL scores and highlights, that's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Now, one of the things that we're going to see here as Houston is kind of taking control of this game, and Denver has not had a great rushing attack this year, 29th in the NFL, averaging only 91 yards per game. But Tim Tebow's going to have more and more pressure put on him to make plays in the passing game.
This time they try the running game, and Noshawn Moreno, second-year runner from Georgia, #1 pick last year, 12th pick overall. Doesn't get much. Stopped by Damian Lewis.
Let's look at some of the shots Tim Tebow's taken today. Right there you can see these defenders, when they get there, they're not usually in a mood to bring him down gingerly. They're going to try and welcome him to the NFL. And right here, the biggest of all, Brian Cushing coming in and finishing it off at the end.
Tebow took a lot of hits at Florida, had some substantial injuries, never missed a start. Moreno looking to turn the corner and does with that burst out across the 30. First down Broncos out to the 33-yard line. Quinn makes the stop from the cornerback position.
Nice run right there by Noshawn Moreno. Very well executed across the board. You're going to see he got the edge. Daniel Graham, big number 89, sealed the edge, the defensive end, and then the rest of it was Noshawn Moreno using his speed to get to the outside. That's where he wants to take it.
Lance Ball now in the backfield for the Broncos. First down. Tebow, big windup, good coverage. Does the wise thing and throws it away. Again, Steve, Antonio Smith putting pressure on from defensive end.
Yeah, he's been playing very, very good football recently the last few weeks. He's got 4 sacks on the season right there. He's been in Tebow's face a lot today. A little bit of a late hit. You got to wonder against a guy like a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, you know, they've been getting all the attention because of they seem to get those kind of calls right there. Antonio Smith on a rookie, that call is not going to be made very often.
Buckhalter now in the backfield. He's on 2nd and 10. That is a give to Buckhalter, the former Eagle, and he's out across the 35-yard line. These guys both on losing streaks, but they're not playing like it.
No, but Denver,
particularly Houston.
Yeah, Denver last week with Tim Tebow making his first start, they only had 9 first downs on the day. They were 2 of 12 on 3rd down conversions, 235 total yards. It was their lowest yardage output of the season, but here they're facing a 3rd and 6. And 2 of 12 isn't going to cut it. You got to start making plays in these situations.
Well, this is the time the quarterback has to make the play on 3rd down. Tebow stands in, eludes one rusher, throwing on the run. He's on target for a first down. Eddie Royal on a crossing pattern mirrors the rollout of his quarterback and is downfield for a 13-yard gain.
Really nice job there by Tebow. He got some quick pressure. No one questions his athletic ability. You're going to see he's getting pressure off of his front side right there. Again, it's Antonio Smith, and Tim Tebow feels it, gets outside, always comfortable throwing on the move, and a nice throw and catch to Eddie Royal right there. Tim Tebow not afraid to show his emotions at all.
Tebow, Steve, now 6 for 9 throwing the ball for 95 yards. He did have that one end zone interception that stopped. Here's a ball on the field, and it's picked up by Lance Ball. Looked like a problem on the exchange.
Well, I think Tim Tebow, if you look at it closely, he had a problem getting the snap. And remember, he didn't take a lot of snaps under center at the University of Florida. He's really adapted well this year, been working hard on it. That ball right there slipped out of his hand early, and then Lance Ball and he were not on the same page as far as making the exchange. Fortunate to not lose that football to the Houston Texans.
So it's 2nd down and 9 at the 49-yard line. 8:25 to play in the first half. Tebow, swing pass out. And doing a good job is Buckhalter, a 10-year veteran from Nebraska. 8 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's his 47th catch of this year.
This is a Texans defense too, Don, that they started the season out 4-2 going into their bye week, but the big thing that bye week signified was the loss of D'Amico Ryans, their middle linebacker, who really is the heart and soul of that defense, or has been for the last several years. And since then, they have not been the same football team. They've really struggled defensively.
And how about the loss of Mario Williams? Went out with 9 sacks in week 13. Overall for the season, 9 sacks, a sports hernia. So maybe the 2 best defenders out of the Texans lineup, and it's hurt.
Right, and Mario Williams, as you said, going down in week 13, he was their obvious best player on the field at the time, but losing to Miko Ryans was the guy that he was the captain of that defense, the guy that really made it tick for them and put them in the right coverages, the right looks, and missing that guy has been a big thing, causing problems for the Texans defense.
As Gary Kubiak told us, Ryans was the quarterback of our defense. Kobe Jones lets it bounce, and it hops into the end zone for a touchback. So the Texans take over the ball with a 14-0 lead at Denver. These guys in the orange outfits are a couple of rejects from the Muppets.
I think they're supposed to be red Christmas trees. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Reverse. Jacoby Jones. Lots of Broncos there, and there's a loss on the play.
That was a great job by Justin Bannon and Jason Hunter there to keep their discipline. But let's look at Arian Foster. He's been a big factor, as he is always, for the Houston Texans. You get a hole like that, I think a lot of running backs can get through it, but Arian Foster, he knows how to get it in the end zone. That's the bottom line.
Oh, yes, Chick Harris, the running back coach. What makes Foster so good? He said, well, he's 230 pounds and he can run fast. That's a start.
It's a nice combo.
Unrestricted free agent from Tennessee, Foster, and now the NFL's leading rusher finds his first good gap of the day. Runs it out to the 29-yard line, a gain of 13 yards on the play.
Well, Don, one of the things that has really been impressive about Arian Foster, look at that right there. I shouldn't say one of the things, 4 of the things. Ranked #1 in the NFL in all those categories. If he gets to 105 yards total offense today, passing and receiving, he'll be only the 2nd player in NFL history to be undrafted and have over 2,000 yards total scrimmage yards on the season. The other guy being Priest Holmes.
He's running well, Steve. 11 carries, 59 yards. Ball on the field. Foster, it's actually Derek Ward who picks up the ball. But good defense by the Broncos, and this time the Texans are stopped after 2 previous long drives for touchdowns.
That's the kind of thing that'll drive a coach crazy. You got 3rd and 1. You're playing with good rhythm. It's only the first 3rd down that the Texans have faced in their 2 previous drives. 6 plays, 91 yards. 6 plays, 86 yards. They didn't even face a 3rd down. Right there, you got 3rd and 1, and you can't make the exchange on the pitch to the running back.
Eddie Royal is back deep. The punt hit by Matt Turk. From the 20. Penalty marker down. Could be a blocking foul as Royal works his way out to the Broncos' 33-yard line.
Looks like they're going to get Sidquan Thompson maybe for a block in the back.
55-yard punt, a 12-yard return. Here's Ron Winter.
During the return, the illegal block in the back. Number 22 of the return team. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
You can't fault the effort. Sidquan Thompson just trying to help out, but Ron Winters and his guys, they caught it.
This season, more people watch the NFL on CBS than on any other network. Ball at the 9. Broncos with the ball. First down and 10. Down on their home field of the Texans, 14-0.
Now they've been able to contain Tim Tebow so far with his legs. Last week we saw what he can do. 78 yards in his debut, including the 40-yard touchdown. Has not been a factor yet today.
Looking to cut back. O'Shawn Marino at 5'11", 210 pounds. Good pass catcher. Also has got 35 this year, 3 for touchdowns.
You know, Don, one of the impressive things about this Texans defense today, the big 0 on the scoreboard. Look at that. right there. This is all time now. 24+ points in a game for a season. The all-time record 14. Houston Texans today, they've given up 13 times over 24 points on the season. Not a good combination for winning.
And again, good defense. Daryl Sharpton working in the middle today, and Zach Dials combined on the stop. And the Broncos, whose offense has stalled, start to hear it from their fans.
Well, again, Don, it comes down to, can you truly run a full playbook? Can you feel comfortable running a full playbook with an inexperienced quarterback with the skill set that Tim Tebow has at this point? He's a work in progress. Mike McCoy right there, we see he's got a lot of proving and getting better to do. Very good first impression, but a long way to go. And that's right there. I feel terrible for Jabbar Gaffney because he took one right in the chest.
Boy,
but you go to the well one too many times. They've thrown about 8 of those quick screens. And eventually, in the NFL, a defensive coordinator is going to figure it out. And they're going to say, okay, that's how you're going to attack us? Well, let's see how that feels. And Jabbar Gaffney right there, not feeling very good. That was Jason Allen with the big hit.
Tebow 7 of 12 throwing the ball today for 100 yards, 1 interception, and Gaffney, a very important player. Of course, Jabbar Gaffney started out as a Houston Texan. Don Criqui with Steve Berline. That throw to a fellow Florida Gator. Jabbar Gaffney by Tebow turned Gaffney into Gator bait. I mean, he got laid out. He's got up, bounced off though, ran off the field. Now a punt. Jacoby Jones for the Texans from the 36. Runs quickly into the gap and gets a good return out close to the 48-yard line. Good starting point. 51-yard punt and a 13-yard return by Gaffney. Looks like Jabbar Gaffney is ready to come back in when needed. Jacoby Jones punt return of 13 yards gets the ball to the 47-yard line where the Texans go again with a 14-point lead. 4:04 to go in the first half. Shaw, nicely timed throw. Owen Daniels somersaults to the 48 of the Broncos.
Well, we got the impression talking to Gary Kubiak, and I talked to Brian Periani, the tight ends coach, before the game, that Owen Daniels was going to be a big factor in this ballgame. They felt that he was finally getting back to tip-top shape, coming off that devastating knee injury that laid him out last year, and it was driving him crazy that he had to sit a little bit more than he wanted to this year, but he's nearly back to his old self.
He is an important guy, Owen Daniels. Job, slow start, 2 3-and-outs, and then some really nice stuff.
Well, you hit it on the head. When you're going 3 and out, you see he was only 1 for 2 on the first 2 drives. When you're not making a first down, it's hard to get any rhythm going. But the last 4 drives, 7 of 7, 140 yards, and a touchdown. That's more like the numbers we're used to seeing.
Texans started the year like a playoff team. Started 4-2. Lost D'Amico Ryans, their quarterback on defense, the middle backer. And they subsequently lost 7 of their last 8 games. Woodyard makes the stop on a short run, but it's enough for the first down.
Well, Gary Kubiak's got to be feeling comfortable now. He's not used to looking at a 14-0 lead as he looks at the field. They've had a lot of tough losses this year. He told us, we were talking, he said, if you look at it, we've had 5 losses on the last possession of a ball game, 3 of them on the last play of a game. You remember the Hail Mary pass that was well documented. It killed them several weeks back, last play of the ball game.
Well, they've had 4 heartbreaking losses. Unbelievable. Now, beautifully executed swing play, and the Broncos are toughing on defense. They can't stop James Casey as he gets it to 22-yard gain. A big block by Eric Winston. Casey, who caught a lot of balls at Rice University in Houston, makes a big play. With Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui back at Denver. Gary Kubiak's Texans have scored only 10 points in the last 2 minutes of the first halves they've played this season. Right now, they're in position to score points. 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line of the Broncos. Texans with 2 long touchdown drives today. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Gary Kubiak's been a center of a lot of football conversations. He's even talking with the Broncos ever want to bring him in here. He's very close to John Elway, and there's speculation that the greatest Bronco of them all, John Elway, might be joining this organization on the football side.
Well, I can guarantee you that Gary Kubiak wants nothing to do with talking about that right now. He wants to finish this season out with 2 wins and see if he can build this Houston program the way he thinks he can.
And I think he wants to stay at Houston.
That's what I'm saying. He's from Houston. You see the incomplete pass to Kevin Walter right now. But Gary Kubiak would love nothing more than to stay in his hometown, and they really feel like they've built something here. Now, it doesn't show in the record. This year has been tremendously disappointing to him, but Gary Kubiak, I talked to him before the game, he really feels like this team is very, very close to being an elite football team. And, you know, we've documented a lot of the problems they've had this year. The bottom line is wins and losses, period. But he wants a chance to get it right.
Well, talking to a longtime Bronco executive, Jim Sacamano, I asked him what did Kubiak mean to the team when his eyes open. He said look what happened when he left, he said. The offense stopped. Williams makes the stop on the play. Clock inside, a minute to play in the first half.
And it looks like Gary Kubiak is going to send the kicker out there. They're going to call a timeout, let the play clock run down, use up as much time as possible. 20 seconds left on the play clock.
So the Denver Broncos with their rookie quarterback Tim Tebow came out throwing bubble screens to either side, moved the ball right down the field on their first possession. And then Tebow threw a interception in the end zone to stop the drive, and the Broncos have not challenged for points since. We come back as Neil Rackers, with that remarkable streak, made 50 straight field goal attempts from 45 yards or less. This is a 34-yarder. So Steve, can we put it in the book before he kicks it?
You know, I think it's about as close to a sure thing as you can get.
Rackers has now kicked 51 straight field goals inside 45 yards, and the Texans, who've struggled mightily in the first half this season, have a big first half today at Denver, a commanding 17-0 lead. Saturday, check out the best moments from the 2010 season through the microphones and the incomparable cameras of NFL Films on NFL Sounds of the Season. Heading towards playoff time. There's clearly a leader of the pack, I think, Steve, in the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I think you have to no-brainer take them. They're by far the most elite team right now. What they did at Buffalo as expected. And there you see Tim Tebow and Mike McCoy. And we talked about his debut last week, 78 yards. A little interesting tidbit. Matt Schaub has never had a season where he's rushed for 78 yards with the football. And you see Tim Tebow, he had, there's Matt Schaub right there, but Tim Tebow had 78 in his debut. He's going to get a chance in this second half. I would expect right now they'll just take a knee, go into halftime, try and regroup. But the second half, I know Mike McCoy, know him well from his days in Carolina with the Panthers. He's going to give this kid a chance to make some plays in the second half because he has to.
So Tim, he has not rushed Schaub for 78 yards in a season. Can't do everything, I guess. He can sure throw it. Here's Eric Decker downing the ball, and the Broncos will start at their 20 with not a lot of time left. 22 seconds to play in the first half. Tebow so far 7 of 12 for 100 yards throwing the ball, the 1 interception. They need to get stuff going downfield because they're not running it well.
Yeah, but the one thing you don't want to do here, Don, and as I said before, you're backed up at your own end. If you put it on Tim Tebow to try and make a play right now up the field, if he turns the ball over, you're giving more points to Houston. I expect him to take a knee right now. Maybe hand the ball off.
He's going double tights like he's going to run it. Let's see. Handoff, moving nicely. This Lance ball, and he's out close to the 30-yard line. Looks to be just short of a first down, and that's probably going to do it for the first half. It will, so now the guys mix it up a little bit as the Texans take a 17-0 lead at halftime. We'll be back with a Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. At the half, the Texans lead the Broncos 17-0. And it's time to take a look at our Droid replay of the game presented by Motorola.
Great throw by Matt Schaub to Owen Daniels right there. Tough matchup for linebacker DJ Williams. That was the second touchdown for the Texans, and a kind of a confidence booster for them going in, because now they had a 14-point lead. They're not used to having that breathing room in the first half, at least as of late.
Bad news for the Broncos. The best efforts of the Texans have come in the second half. Texans with a balanced offense, 170 passing, 67 rushing. So they've been balanced and they've not made mistakes.
No, they have not. And this is a team, as you said, that gets better in the second half, generally speaking. They've been a very dominant team, one of the best in the league in the second half. You look at the first half stats, though, you can see 8.3 yards of play for the Texans. That's a key. The Broncos have not had an answer, have not had an opportunity to stop them after the first couple of drives. Time of possession pretty even, but what you really see is after the first drive, when you talked about it earlier, Don, excuse me, Tim Tebow made some plays in that first drive and the quick passing game, the screens. We've got to see him now with the deficit that they're facing, down 17-0. He's going to have to stand in the pocket, make some plays up the field.
Kyle Orton, who started most of the season, he's injured. He's the third quarterback today. They don't think they can play him. Brady Quinn is the backup. And you get us a touchback reception by Parrish in the end zone. Reception of the kick, and you don't want to pull the rug on Tebow to jumpstart this team, but would they ever go to a backup?
Well, you know, it hasn't been warranted yet by performance whatsoever. I don't think Tim Tebow has played poorly, with the exception of the one poor throw, the interception in the end zone that took away points. But what we're going to have to see is whether he can make plays consistently in the pocket in the passing game.
The pitch and the stretch run. Last ball. Second year back from Maryland, gets some good yardage. He's going to spat it out close to the 35-yard line, a gain of almost 15 yards. Darryl Sharpton, 51, makes some noise when he hits.
Yeah, the rookie, fourth-round draft choice out of Miami. He's a guy that the Texans coaches are very excited about. We've got a player hurt down there right now on the field. That's Sean Cody, defensive tackle.
So Sean is attended to. Breaking the action at Denver. We're back, and Sean Cody, 95, shaken up, looks ready to go again. Former number 2 pick of the Lions. Now a starter in the defensive front of the Texans. 1st and 10. Play fake. Tebow launches a long ball. Receiver is there, and he's got it inside the 20-yard line. Tremendous catch by Jabbar Gaffney, a 47-yard gain on the play.
You know, I talked to Mike McCoy before the game a little bit. He said, he used an example of a play just like this. He said, in practice, we'll try and hit the big play off the play action in practice, and we'll try it 2 or 3 times, and we won't hit it. And Tim looks at me and says, don't worry, coach, I'll hit it in the game. There's a perfect example right there, and that's why you got to root for him and you got to love him. Everything he brings to the table. That was a nice play by Tim Tebow.
Texan fans remember Gaffney. He was the number 2 draft choice of the Texans back in 02, and now a gap. He's heading inside the 10 and down to the 5 is Carl Buckhalter. So the Broncos come out with offense. Troy Nolan makes the stop for the Texans.
Well, that big pass play is just what this team needed. You know, we talked a lot to people throughout the organization coming into this game, and every one of them said that the energy that number 15 brings, and the Broncos, you see, have never been shut out at home, now down to the 6-yard line, but the energy that Tim Tebow brings to this stadium, not only to his own team, but to this stadium, has been lacking for a while.
See, never shut out at home. That's in 401 games, 386 regular season, 15 home playoff games. One of the signal figures on the Denver skyline, the Stallion, atop the Invesco Field Mile High scoreboard. Studesville, interim coach, Matt Schaub, quarterback for the Texans. He's played great football, and now Tim Tebow looking to get the Broncos in the end zone for the first time today. Down to the goal line. Touchdown Denver. Carl Buckhalter. Big block by Daniel Graham.
Could not have been a better start to the second half than for this Denver Broncos team. Carl Buckhalter taking it in from 6 yards out. Eric Studesville knows that's exactly what this team needed.
Hauschka now ready to try the point after. Guy who started at Middlebury College and ended up at North Carolina State. And he knocks through the extra point. The long pass to Gaffney, now officially a 50-yard play. It was 47 when he went down with a diving catch. Then he rolled 3 yards before he was touched. And then Buckhalter 6 yards out on the payoff end. Broncos kick off when we come back. Broncos come out with a big drive, 80 yards in 4 plays. Big shot in that was the 50-yard throw. Tebow to Gaffney, and then the 6-yard touchdown run by Buckhalter. Now the Broncos kick off. Slayton will down the ball. And on the touchback, the Texans start from their 20. Celebrate with the best when America salutes Paul McCartney, Oprah, and more. It's a spectacular all-star evening at the Kennedy Center Honors. Tuesday, only CBS.
We talk about the Houston Texans. This is a team that is very, very efficient in the second half. You see 54 points scored on the opening drive of the second half. They've got the third best point differential in the second half, plus 51.
They come out with power football out to the 30-yard line.
Boy, what a good run that was. That whole left side of the Texans offense. Dwayne Brown and Wade Smith, Chris Myers, the center, came up and made a statement on that play right there. You saw Vontae Leach, the fullback, number 44, coming around, leading up in there. That's just a straight physical play saying to the Denver Broncos defense, you know what, get used to it, we're coming at you again.
Got some good blocks. Woodyard, the lead tackler. And it's a first down at the 30. Play faking. Schaub gets a long look. Going deep. Incomplete at the 30-yard line. Goodman was covering. He's been a target often. Andre Goodman at right corner. For a very good reason. Champ Bailey's at the other corner. You don't want to throw there.
Well, I want you to watch right here. You're going to see Owen Daniels coming across underneath the intended receiver right there. Matt Schaub that time decided he wanted to get a little bit greedy. But look, right there you can see wide open underneath. That would have been the right throw for Matt Schaub. It was a big gain coming across the field. That was Owen Daniels. You don't get many good opportunities like that with the man coverage to hit a guy on the move that far up the field.
Schaub again, looking, he screens the ball, and there's room to run. Beautifully executed. Arian Foster working the sideline across midfield, and he's down to the 42-yard line, a 28-yard pass play.
Oh, beautiful screen pass. Watch the center, Chris Myers, number 55. The key block right here. He's going to come and loop around, and right there you can see him in the corner of the screen. Just got enough of DJ Williams to keep him from getting to Arian Foster. That was the key block. It was set up beautifully by the formation and the play action. Arian Foster, that's about as easy as it's going to be to pick up a big gainer in this league.
Big gainer it was. Now the Texans with a 17-7 lead. Looking to answer that touchdown drive to open the half by the Broncos. Running play to the Denver 40. Derek Ward runs it. Justin Bannon makes the stop.
Well, that screen pass to Arian Foster put him over the 2,000-yard mark for total yards from scrimmage. only the second undrafted player in NFL history to do it. You saw Priest Holmes did it 3 times.
Here's Schaub down the middle of the field. He's hit hard as he releases. Broncos got a blitzer through. Woodyard came, Wesley Woodyard.
And Champ Bailey is hobbling right there. He came over and made a play, and Owen Daniels late. Looks like he twisted his ankle or something. I thought it was a little bit late. Maybe it could have been a defenseless receiver. You see Matt Schaub under some pressure. You're going to see Champ Bailey, number 24, right there, just a little bit out of control. Incidental contact there, but he twisted his ankle, it looks like.
Champ tied for the all-time lead among cornerbacks with 9 Pro Bowl selections. He's tied with Mike Haynes, a Hall of Famer, who stood out for the Patriots and then the Raiders. Champ Bailey, a phenomenal athlete at Georgia in the indoor SEC Southeastern Conference track meet. He won the long jump, 1.5 inches short of 26 feet.
That's flying, literally. Also, Champ Bailey, the 3rd most interceptions in the NFL since 1999, 48 career interceptions.
Schaub standing in on 3rd down. Daniels catches it, but the Broncos are there hitting it. Andre Goodman with a big stop.
Yeah, that's just a bad ball by Matt Schaub. I'm not sure that it would have picked up the 1st down anyway, because Goodman had some good coverage on it. That ball was a little bit high and behind Owen Daniels, giving up the ribs right there. Matt Schaub probably feels worse about that than anybody.
So now they're lining up for what appears to be a 55-yard field goal by Neil Rackers. He's a long-distance bomber. He's hit from 53 yards this year, career long of 54.
And we are in Denver, so
yeah. Ball's on the east man alive. That ball hit.
You got it.
What a shot. 54 yards would have been good from 64. So the Texans get points on a big kick by Rackers. That's impressive. Neil Rackers, a 54-yard field goal. And the Texans now extend their lead to 20-7. Erish Cox is back deep for the Broncos, waiting in his end zone for the kickoff now by Rackers. He's been booming him into the end zone. This man can kick the ball.
Yeah.
8 yards deep.
Not uncommon in Denver, but he can boot it. He's always had the big leg.
Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS wraps up their regular season and sets up the playoffs with a doubleheader. Check local listings beginning with the NFL Today, subject to flexible scheduling. There they are, JB and his team.
Well, let's see what number 15 has in store for us here on this drive. A good first drive of the second half, making plays from the pocket.
Tebow looking deep. Here's one out. He's on target again. Beautifully caught by Brandon Lloyd. Stop pattern, and the ball is drilled in 18 yards downfield.
And I'll tell you what, he took a shot from Antonio Smith, number 94. Watch this right in the back, Don. That is a shot. That's a big NFL type of hit. Tim Tebow standing strong in the pocket and delivering a strike to Brandon Lloyd on the outside. Ball was up on time, on the money.
On the money, now to the 38-yard line. So Tebow and the Bronco offense coming alive here in the 3rd quarter on their 2nd possession. First was a long touchdown drive. Tebow again, middle of the field, ball's up for play. It's caught by the Broncos, Brandon Lloyd. That was anybody's ball, Steve, and Brandon Lloyd said it's mine. A 41-yard gain.
It was anybody's ball. It was underthrown, poorly thrown ball. Really, if you look at it, Jason Allen was in perfect position for the interception, but Brandon Lloyd timed it perfectly and caught the ball at the high point. Those are the kind of plays that make an NFL team very poor against the pass. How bad are the Houston Texans? 275 yards a game, the 4th worst number of all time, if that holds up.
Brandon Lloyd now over 1,350 yards receiving this year, and the Broncos continue to attack with a Lance Ball power run. Stopped by Glover Quinn.
One of the things Gary Kubiak told us in talking about his defense, he talked about the young secondary, the youngest secondary in the NFL was his statement, and you can see how little experience they have. And he said, looking back on it, they made the decision to go with the youngest secondary in the NFL. Turns out it probably wasn't a great decision.
That's what he said, yeah. Kareem Jackson, the #1 draft choice at right corner, starting as a rookie. He was an integral part of the national championship team at Alabama. Tebow looks, end zone throw. Coverage is good, and he overshoots probably intentionally. Brandon Lloyd the target again.
You're exactly right, Don, and that's a really good decision by Tim Tebow right there, because he made the decision to go to Brandon Lloyd. Right, wrong, indifferent, doesn't matter. He made the decision, and down here in the red zone, you've got to make quick decisions. He committed to it. You look at his numbers first half, second half, but it wasn't there. He made the smart play, threw it away.
And lives to throw another down on 2nd down and 10. Run the ball down to the 9-yard line. So now a very big down coming up for the Broncos and the Texans defense. Damian Lewis makes that stop on Lance Ball.
Well, this Texans defense is ranked 31st in the NFL in the red zone. Just another one of their major defensive issues.
What do you think he's going here, Steve?
Well, you got to think Brandon Lloyd, who's singled up here at the top, but I think that Houston's probably expecting that too.
They're revolving a safety over that way.
Yeah.
You got double on him. Here comes the heat. There's the throw. High arcing throw, and caught way out of bounds by Eddie Royal.
Yeah, Tim Tebow made the right decision, had the one-on-one coverage. They definitely took away Brandon Lloyd with the double safety over the top right there. A shot at Eddie Royal right into our cameraman. Way to take one for the team, but definitely out of the end zone.
Nate Spearman taking one for the team. Great work again today by our entire CBS crew as Hauschka comes out to try the field goal. They hated to settle for this, I'm sure. The Broncos.
About to run out of time here.
But it's points. 27-yard field goal. It's a 20-10 game Texans. Here's the Brandon Lloyd catch. 41 yards downfield. Don Criqui with Steve Berline. Back at Denver, CBSSports.com is streamlining its award-winning fantasy games. We're going to tell you more about that shortly. Denver on a 59-yard drive. It ended up, though, in a 27-yard field goal as the kick is hit downfield. Steve Slayton takes it out this time. Looks for a gap. 2 arms on the ball, and he drives to the 20-yard line. Knowing about CBSSports.com, streamlining its award-winning fantasy games to create an even better fantasy experience. Visit CBSSports.com/sneak preview. Sign up for an alert when fantasy games launch. Champ Bailey, a twisted ankle or knee, still a little limp over there, Steve. Not good.
Does not look like he has any intention of coming back in. That is not good for the Denver Broncos secondary.
One day he'll be a first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer, one of the great ones. Swing pass, Owen Daniels. Good open field tackling. Marcus Thomas got a hit in.
Oh, what great pursuit by Marcus Thomas to shut down that screen as we look at the NFC playoff picture.
Atlanta is in. Chicago won their division, beating the Jets today, but ironically the Jets also got in. And Jacksonville lost.
And we hear
overtime.
We hear that Green Bay is up on the Giants right now, 21-14 in Green Bay.
Shaw threads it in beautifully to a possession receiver, Kevin Walter. Walter with his 49th catch of the year for the Texans, a 14-yard gain.
Nice job by Matt Schaub standing in the pocket there. Pressure coming, but he's so comfortable in this offense. He's been with Gary Kubiak now for 4 years, and they really have a rhythm. He knew exactly where to go when the pressure was coming. Hit Kevin Walter right in stride. A nice pickup.
You will get better playing quarterback for Kubiak.
No doubt about it.
Stretch runs. Toss. Foster turns the corner, and he is across the 40 and out close to the 47-yard line. Looks like he's going to have a first down.
Oh, that was a tremendous run by Arian Foster right there. You had a lot of pressure in the backfield. You had Parrish Cox, number 32, and Mario Hagan bursting into the backfield, causing penetration. Arian Foster did not get rattled at all. We've got a player down on the side. That's Marcus Thomas again. Tremendous run, though, by Arian Foster to stick with it, to trust it, get it to the edge, and turn the corner, make a nice big gain out of it.
And he, Steve, is putting up Arian Foster-type numbers today. 87 yards on 16 carries. He had only 15 yards last week on 11 carries.
Well, as we've discussed, it's good to see Marcus Thomas walking next to longtime athletic trainer there, Steve Antonopoulos, the Greek, as he's known here in Denver.
He came with the franchise, didn't I think,
he's been here a long time. Rehabbed me through an injury or two here while I was with the Broncos as well. Playing for that man, Gary Kubiak.
Well, the mile high, the altitude is not bothering the Texans. Kubiak says the best thing is bring your team in late. Don't come in early. A couple days early. Here is a nice catch, beautifully done. Extending for the ball, Jacoby Jones. And he has the ball down to the 42-yard line of the Broncos, an 11-yard gain.
Nice catch, but really a great job by Matt Schaub. You could see how he scanned the whole field on that play. He was looking to go to the right side, but coverage took him back to Jacoby Jones. He read the whole thing perfectly, got it back, and delivered a strike on the backside of Jacoby Jones.
So Schaub is now over 4,000 yards passing for this season. And again, that good speed despite his 230 pounds, but a superior open field tackle. Parrish Cox comes up from the corner 32 and makes the stop.
Well, on the previous long run off this outside action to the right, Parrish Cox did not make the play, had great penetration in the backfield. He won the battle that time. A nice open field tackle for a loss of a yard on the play.
Gary Kubiak said of Schaub when we talked to Gary that he has a chance. He's good now. He says he has a chance to be great.
And he said great quarterbacks are measured by wins and losses. And unfortunate what's happened this year, but that's what it's going to take to get that designation.
Long ball, coverage good by Cox. Now a marker late. It's a big call.
Could be going against Kevin Walter. Could, but there was some contact both ways.
That's interference.
It is, yeah.
Separation. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Now you're going to see Parrish Cox and Kevin Walter getting into it. There's a little contact of the field, but just a little bump. Now, you know, was there a little bit of a push off? Sure, but I don't think that ball was catchable, and I don't know if I agree with that call after looking at it on the replay there. That was a very nice camera angle. I think that ball was uncatchable.
It was.
It's got to be pretty obvious to call it an offensive player in that situation.
Derek Ward in the backfield, 2nd and 21. Matt Schaub looks to screen it. He does. Terrific run by Ward inside the 45-yard line of the Broncos. Going to bring up 3rd and still long, though. 3rd and about 12 where they spotted.
Well, we've had a couple chances to talk about center Chris Myers. Watch him on this play, too. You see him slipping out there, number 55. The key block right there on Wesley Woodyard to spring the big play to get back half of what the Texans needed to make up. About nine of the 20 yards they needed to make up. So that's all Gary Kubiak was looking for. Get yourself in a makeable 3rd down situation.
Needs 11 to make it. Here come the blitzers, picked up beautifully and defended beautifully by the Broncos. As Joel Dreesen, tight end from Colorado State, had his hands on the ball, but Dawkins separated him from it.
I think we might see Neil Rackers here again. This would be a well, we're gonna, yeah, here he comes.
He's coming.
This could be about a 57-yard field goal if my math is correct.
Usually is.
I wouldn't go that far.
The line of scrimmage is the just inside the 39 plus 17, be about 56 yards. That's going to be 57, yeah.
Yeah, he's already got the 54-yarder.
By a lot.
The key here for a kicker, Don, he knows he's in Denver. Just stroke it. It'll get there.
He's got enough. Man, he's having a career today.
Yes. I'm thinking he's loving kicking in Denver. They could not have a better day for it. Gary Kubiak likes it.
A 54-yarder, now a 57-yarder, and now a 23-10 Texan lead. Texans close out the season next Sunday against Jacksonville at home.
And that kick tied the Houston Texans all-time franchise long field goal of 57 yards.
Wait till the Texans' next possession before we say that.
Exactly right.
Neil Rackers, an 11-year veteran from Illinois, came in hitting 22 of 25 for the season, 88%, which is exceptional. He was 1 of 2 from 50 plus. Today he's 2 of 2 from 50 plus, 54 and 57. And he has been exceptional. And again, Parrish Cox goes back for the Broncos, standing in his end zone. Broncos have had a hard time getting kick returns off the kickoffs of Rackers. It's amazing, these kickers, you know, even the really good ones, most of them with a bunch of different teams.
Yeah, they bounce around. You know, it's a kind of what have you done for me lately business. The Rackers had really established himself there in Arizona, and you know, he had a year or two where he was kind of so-so, not at the level that they were accustomed to, and now it's Houston's game.
This will be run back. Cox from the 5. Gets out to the 25-yard line, and Tim Tebow and the Bronco offense needing a touchdown to get back in this with 2:28 to play in the third quarter, with the Texans in the lead 23-10.
Let's get into that age-old discussion, Don, about rookie quarterbacks starting in the NFL. You can see the number of them that we've had this year in the NFL. Kind of mixed bag of results. John Skelton for the Arizona Cardinals, the only one there with the winning record of 2-1.
Bradford, the #1 pick, would seem to be odds on to be the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's the deal.
He is the real deal for sure. I really like him a lot. As you see, another screen pass here.
Lance Ball. Tebow very comfortable, softly threading the ball in, an 11-yard gain with a catch and run. Glover Quinn on the stop.
Don, I don't think I've ever seen more screen passes in a game than we see right here. Look at the wall right here in front of Lance Ball right there. He's got the lane to get up the field. And here's the thing, both teams running a lot of screens, and they keep coming up nicely. It usually does not work as well when you go to the well that many times.
They've run the screen time and again to both sides. Very productive. Here is Tebow again. And Tebow would be well advised not to have thrown that or to thrown it away, because the only guy that had a play on it was Jason Allen coming at the ball.
Well, a little bit careless with the ball, and you know,
Daryl Sharpton.
Tim Tebow told us himself.
Putting pressure on.
Yeah, it was under a little bit of pressure. Tim Tebow told us himself, though, that the difference in this league for him is not the speed, as you hear about from a lot of people, but it's the ability and the anticipation and the instinct of the defenders to react to the football when it's in the air. Right there, he almost paid the price.
Yeah, he said you can't surprise them in the NFL. They're looking for it. Marino, good run, gets the ball out across the Broncos 45-yard line, close to a first down, maybe just short of it on a second down run. It's game clock down now to 1:23 to play. Buckhalter is the man.
I want you to watch this. Brian Cushing usually delivering the blow right here. At the end of this run, you're going to see Noshawn Marino take him, and boom, there goes Brian Cushing getting knocked out of there. That's a big man, Noshawn Marino, or that's Correll Buckhalter. Took out of the play there at the end, though. Cushing not used to getting knocked back like that.
Cushing's a much bigger man at 6'3", 260.
Yeah, he is about as big a linebacker as I've ever seen.
Broncos have already reached their season average in rushing yards today. Misconnection on the exchange. Buckhalter does well to hold on to the ball. His middle backer Sharpton was right in there.
You know what that was, Don? That was a complete bust on someone on the left side of the Broncos line. Sharpton lined up out there on the edge and just came untouched into the backfield from that left side. Someone missed an assignment. That was almost a disaster for the Broncos. You'll see right here he is coming up on the outside. And man, Tim Tebow barely got that ball to Buckhalter.
Texans really like Daryl Sharpton, a rookie linebacker from Miami of Florida, picked in the 4th round last April. Very smart, not real big, but he gets there. And that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter of play. Houston leading 23-10. We'll be back after this message and your word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. With Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui back at Invesco Field at Mile High. Broncos with the ball, trailing the Texans 23-10 as we open the 4th quarter. Tebow eludes tacklers, but not all of them. One finally gets him down. As coming up to make the play was Mark Anderson. 96, and there's a penalty marker down. Was there a hold?
Oh, it's up the field like it might have something to do with the receivers.
If the play goes, it's the first sack of the day for the defense. Big call, whole quarter to play.
Holding. Defense number 30.
Automatic first down.
5-yard penalty. The first down.
That's a shame for Houston. Jason Allen totally away from the play. They're going to call holding right there. You got a little head slap from Brandon Lloyd. I don't see it. I mean, that was within a 5-yard chuck zone. That's an irrelevant penalty that takes away a very good play by Mark Anderson and the Houston Texans defense.
Draw play. Buckhalter carries, and the Texans are all over it. Anderson makes the step. Tim Tebow really upping his production here in the 3rd quarter. He's thrown for 222 yards for the day. He's thrown for 122 in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I think that there are 3 passes that stand out in my head right now. Obviously, the big 50-yarder off the play action down the middle of the field to Jabbar Gaffney. But then the 2 other throws from the play action where he hit the nice curl routes to Brandon Lloyd, standing strong in the pocket. Those are all really good football plays.
He fakes well. He runs well, looking to throw. He does. And the ball comes in short of his target, looking at Jabbar Gaffney. Okoye was putting heat on, number 91 for the Texans. Tim Tebow was actually born in the Philippines. His parents were missionaries there. He told us, we were talking about the people doubting him in the NFL if he can be a quarterback. He said, hey, they doubted me in high school. He went to a high school and the guy told him, you're not playing quarterback, you're going to be a tight end or a linebacker, and he switched high schools.
He said he's been trying to prove people wrong ever since.
Waiting. Right on time to an open receiver. Down to the 31-yard line. And before our eyes, you have to think that Tim Tebow's coming of age in his 2nd start in the NFL. 18-yard gain.
Again, a really nice throw. Look at him buy a little time. He doesn't like what he sees front side. Sets up and delivers a bullet strike to Brandon Lloyd, who goes down the sideline. Brandon Lloyd, by the way, is another great story. A lot of people think he's up for the comeback player of the year. His 8th year in the league. This is the first time he's ever gone over 1,200 yards. Only two other receivers have done that in the history of the NFL.
Originally drafted by the 49ers back in '03. He is having a phenomenal year, an all-pro year. Buckhalter's the man. Snapped by Bernard Pollard.
Brandon Lloyd, I think, second in the league coming into this game, and he's had several big catches today as well. You know, we asked him in our conversation the other day if he surprised himself, if he even exceeded his own expectations. He said, you know, I'm not really one to set a bunch of goals. I just like to show up every day and do the best I can and see where things fall.
And the man that's throwing the ball, Tim Tebow, his teammates say that in the huddle, you get the feeling this guy expects to win. He's a very confident guy, very poised. He's done a lot of winning. We're back at Denver on this drive. 8 plays, 50 yards so far. Third straight Denver drive for over 50 yards, all in this half. Tebow gaining in accuracy and confidence as the game wears on in his second start in the NFL at quarterback. 25th player picked in the first round. Many criticized it, didn't think he was an NFL quarterback. That's fine with him. He likes the critics, he told us. Helps motivate you. Called run, he gets the first down.
Well, that's what he brings right there. How many times did we see this over the years for Florida when they needed the big tough yards to convert a first down opportunity? They let number 15 just take it and go.
Lee Trevino once told us 2 things that won't last long: dogs who chase cars and pros who make pars. And how about quarterbacks who run? I don't know.
Uh-oh.
He picks it up. Miss on the exchange. Mark Anderson on it quickly.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the biggest adjustments Tim Tebow had to make, and I probably could confidently say he's been taking snaps in his sleep from under the center since he was picked by the Denver Broncos. And to be a quarterback in this league, you're going to have to take a bunch of snaps under the center, and that's got to be something you don't even think about.
Another checked off, second down. Blitzers are coming hard, and Tebow's on the run and not far. Terrific defense by the Texans.
You know what that was, Don? That was tremendous discipline by the Texans on that defense. That was Jamison making the sack, but they came up the field hard. And what ends up happening a lot of times, and a good running quarterback will expose this, but look at how evenly dispersed those defensive linemen were. They all were coming up the field pressuring, but they kept their lane responsibilities, and that's what was able to finally corral Tim Tebow right there. A lot of times a good running quarterback under pressure is going to step up and go, and if you're not disciplined, it can be a big play.
There's a big play now. 3rd and 14. The screen pass again.
Nice.
Buckhalter with a great change of direction. Move is heading in. Standing up on the play of the day for the Broncos, and they're right back in it.
Now, brilliant design. We've been talking about the success of the screen passes. Look at this right here, and watch. Initially, Tebow fakes it to the right side, and look at all the Texans on that side of the field. Nobody outside other than one defender. And then Correll Buckhalter, you get him in the open field. Most of these running backs at this level, you give them that much space, they're going to know what to do with that football.
And your old coach and friend, Mike McCoy, he spent a lot of time drawing up screens, and they're working. So it's a 23-17 game, and now the Broncos will kick off. The Denver Broncos have outscored the Texans 17-6 in the second half. But the Texans had a 17-0 halftime lead, and now their overall lead 23-17 as the Broncos are ready to kick off. Tim Tebow's now thrown for 263 yards today. 1 touchdown, that early interception. Steve Slayton. He downs the ball, and the Texans will go from their 20 when we come back. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Texans lead, cut to 6. The stadium's come alive in Denver. 2nd and 10, looking for Daniels, overthrown. Big rush coming from the outside backer, Robert Ayers.
Yeah, he had a clean shot at Schaub. You're going to see right here, Ayers came up, you read that play action and made the hit from behind on Schaub. He's holding his head.
He took a lot of hits last week, Matt Schaub.
He did, and that could very well have been close to a head-to-head contact the way it looked from behind.
Sounds like the good old days here in Denver.
Yeah, they can make some noise.
Beautiful slant pattern throw, and the mark is going to be at the 31. It's a first down.
Great job of just knowing the field, Don. That was pressure coming from the outside, the secondary, and Matt Schaub reversed out and knew exactly where his quick outlet throw was and made the Broncos pay. They've been a darn good fourth quarter team right there. Second most points in the fourth quarter in the NFL.
Yeah, they start slow and close fast. Although today they started fast. Had a 17-0 lead at halftime. Foster gets some, and he's thrown back from the 34-yard line. Coming to make the stop on the play was Kevin Vickerson, defensive end 99.
This is a play down where Arian Foster really didn't have the cutback opportunity. Probably regretting he did. You know, you look at a counter play to the right side, which that was. He cut back against the grain on his own. You go backside on a counter play designed to go right. You better be pretty darn sure there's nothing back there. You're not going to make much.
Well, they didn't make much. A 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. Schaub gets time. Swings it low. Beautifully executed by the Texans for a first down after the 45-yard line. Arian Foster on the receiving end. Dawkins, an 8-time Pro Bowler with the Eagles, makes the stop for the Broncos. An 11-yard gain.
You know what was great about this one, Don? See how Matt Schaub, calm and cool in that pocket. Arian Foster was his 4th read on that play. His check down, as we kind of refer to it in the business. And Arian Foster came through untouched at the right time. Matt Schaub did not force anything up the field. Nice little check down for a first down.
64 catches now this year for the NFL's leading rusher, Foster. Now he runs it. Now we have a moment. Let's go to New York to James Brown for an update. As
Don
the
and
scoreboard's
Steve.
changing at Cincinnati.
Don and Steve, take a look. Carson Palmer, when he hooks up with Jordan Shipley on this 3-yard strike, that's Palmer's 3rd touchdown toss of the day. A stress-free day for him without T.O. and Ocho Cinco. If San Diego loses, they're out. KC will win the AFC West. Back to Don and Steve.
Wow.
We had the Bengals last week, and you could see Carson Palmer's confidence growing with those young receivers.
And the Bengals, they like playing for Marvin Lewis. There's been a lot of talk about his future. They were a division champion a year ago. Andre Goodman breaks it up. How about the Colts and the Raiders? Here's James again.
Don and Steve, take a look here. Peyton Manning hooking up with Blair White on a 4-yard touchdown toss. 4 plays, 56 yards. If Indy wins its last 2, they win the division. 24-19, they lead Oakland in the 4th. Don and Steve.
Hey, thank you, James. A pretty remarkable comeback late in the season by the Colts, who have had more injured players this year than any time since they've been in Indianapolis. More starting players. Here is Schaub, and he is hit as he releases the ball incomplete. 3rd down miss. Rush was coming. Harris Cox on a corner blitz.
Now that very well could have been intentional grounding, in my opinion. You see some pressure coming from the Denver Broncos that drive. Several times in that drive, they came with all-out safety pressure right there. Matt Schaub did not have the answer.
So the Texans, their lead, cut to 6. Now have to send the ball back to the Broncos on a punt. Eddie Royal is back in his 8th. And Tim Tebow is hot. Hot throwing the ball. They let it bounce. It takes a bounce the Broncos' way. Texans working hard to down the ball at the 23-yard line. So it's 7:42 to play. Rookie Tim Tebow will quarterback the Broncos when we come back. With Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui back at Denver. Broncos have worked their way back in this game. Down by 6 with their rookie quarterback Tim Tebow getting it going. See the second half yardage. Tebow's been lighting it up, throwing the ball. He's thrown for 263 yards on 13 of 22, and he's ready to launch again. Gets it away as it's drilled to hit the ground. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
You know what's surprising about this? From the Texans standpoint, they're usually a second half team. Their only points have come on 54 and 57-yard field goals. As we see, the ball definitely did hit the ground.
Big drive, a time starting to become a bit of a factor. 7:35 to play. They run it. And the Texans stop it. Buckhalter runs, lead tackler Okoye.
Well, you've got to give the Texans defense credit on that. That's a play where Mike McCoy on 2nd and long, generally speaking in the NFL, probably 80% of the time, defenses are going to play a soft 2-deep coverage where they're not going to have safety support up for the run. That's a good time to run the ball to try and pick up 5-6 yards, get yourself in a 3rd and manageable situation. The one thing you don't account for is the defense stepping up making a play. Now you got 3rd and 11.
And you have to think, Steve, the Texans are thinking screenplay.
You would have to think that, Don. That's probably a pretty good call right here.
They've been running it all day and making first downs. Downfield throw, check down receiver has a first down and a lot more. Buckhalter on a 3rd and over 10. Breaks it up the middle of the field after the catch for a 22-yard gain, and the Broncos are driving.
Good veteran play by Tim Tebow right here. You got the soft 2-deep coverage. You even had Amobi Okoye dropping into coverage from the nose tackle position, but right there against that soft 2-deep coverage, there's not a lot of holes up the field. You got to be patient, take your check down, hope your athlete like Correll Buckhalter can pick up the first down like he did.
Buckhalter with a big catch and run. Tebow has now thrown in this game for 285 yards. He's hit 14 of 24 throws. And the team he's going against has the lowest rated pass defense in the NFL.
Yeah, unfortunately for Houston, that they've exceeded their average. They were already ranked last coming into today. 4th worst of all time, as mentioned earlier, if their average holds up for the season. It's a good matchup for Tim Tebow to try and get his confidence going. I think he's accomplished that today as well.
Tebow, tough to tackle. They've hit him a lot in the backfield, but he throws most of the tacklers off. He's 6'3", 245 pounds. There's his counterpart, Matt Schaub. He's had good numbers today, and right now his team trying to protect a 6-point lead. Tebow again, bootleg. A left-hand long ball. There's a receiver there. Incomplete at the 9. Shooting at Jabbar Gaffney.
Well, Jabbar Gaffney was open up the field. I'm not going to put that on Tim Tebow, though. The one thing a receiver has to do in this situation, you can see Tebow's coming all the way out. The receiver's got to kind of buy time before he takes off. He did a little bit, but he's up the field a little bit too far for Tim Tebow to get that ball out there. A little bit more patience by Jabbar Gaffney, and he might have been able to hook up with his young quarterback.
Denver with a 17-point second half so far. Only 6 points the Texans have had it in the spectacular field goal kicking of Rackers, and here's a throw for a first down. Coming back at the ball, Brandon Lloyd with a phenomenal play, a 14-yard gain.
Well, that puts Tebow right about 300 yards. What a great throw that was. I mean, under pressure right away. I thought it was a careless throw initially, but when I saw the end result, it was right on the money. I thought he was just trying to get rid of that football dangerously, but no, it was right there. Great play.
Well, the great John Elway carried this franchise for 16 seasons. And you start to think maybe this is the Elway replacement they've been waiting for. A long way to go, a lot more to be decided. Protecting the ball is huge, and Gaffney makes a great play. One-handing the ball. Glover Quinn beaten on the crossing pattern, and the Broncos down by 6 are driving.
Well, I like the confidence being shown in Tim Tebow right now with the play calling, trying to see if this kid can do it and can make the plays. You're going against the worst ranked pass defense in the NFL. That's the way you should attack them. And they're giving his young quarterback a chance to make some plays.
He made the one very bad throw for an end zone interception on the opening drive. But his ball security's been excellent, and now here's the running game as it's Buckhalter, the big back from Nebraska, banging straight ahead, stopped by Tim Johnson. Tim Jamison.
Now look at those fantasy leaders right now. How about Aaron Rodgers? Look at that fourth name down for the quarterbacks. Tim Tebow, one of the fantasy leaders and the rushing leaders.
Schaub waiting for his chance. He's had really good numbers today. If the Broncos should take it in. All out blitz. They pick it up beautifully, and Tebow's on the run inside the 20. And he dances out of bounds with a first down at the 16-yard line.
You know what I like most about this play, Don? I like the way it ended. You know, we talked to Tim Tebow. He said, I'm not going to change who I am. I've just got to be selective about when I try and run physically. He knew where the first down marker was. He's got to learn when it's okay to take a hit, when it's worth taking the hit, and when it's not. Right there, a great decision to get the first down and get out of bounds. Look at those numbers.
326 total yards. But the Texans still lead the game with 4 minutes to play. And the Broncos call a timeout. This guy's won a lot of games. Here's a guy that won the Heisman Trophy, only player ever to win that great award as a sophomore. He was a Heisman finalist 3 straight years. 2 national championship teams he quarterbacked in Florida.
Well, what has he done today? Well, started out, I wanted to see more than just those little bubble screens and the regular screen passes. They've used them very efficiently and very effectively today, but he has done a great job. That was a touchdown to Correll Buckhalter, but this is the play right here that I liked just a few plays ago. But I also did like a couple of the plays where he stood strong in the pocket. And we know he can make plays with his feet. He's going to always bring that dimension to him. But he made the big plays up the field from the pocket, which you have to do at this level. Watch out for the run here. Empty backfield. Yeah, he's going up and checking it now.
Look at all the guys that the Texans have brought up. They got one deep man playing one. Here is the run indeed, and it's Tebow down to the 10-yard line on a first down carry. He got 7.
Well, whenever Denver goes to that empty backfield when they motion out, my instinct is telling me they're trying to set up a run to Tebow. And I think the Houston Texans were thinking the same thing. They just got a little bit too bunched up in there. They gave him a seam for a nice 6-yard pickup.
This guy is box office. As soon as he came into the league, his jersey was the #1 selling jersey in the league as a rookie who hadn't played.
And today's not hurting those sales.
Tebow looks, end zone throw.
Smart play.
Overthrows. Coverage was excellent on Eddie Royal. Glover Quinn was covering on the play.
Don, that's a play where you're telling your quarterback, we're going to take a shot. We're looking for the perfect look, the perfect opportunity. Eric Studesville got to be happy with the decision, because you tell the young quarterback, if we get the perfect look and you have a chance to make the play, make the play. But if it's not there, throw it away.
Is this 2-down territory?
Well, I think at this clock, you might want to think so. Yeah, I would say so.
Hey, the Texans are sending people blitzing. Here they come, and they're coming fast. End zone throw.
They're going to call PI.
First and goal, Denver
You want to know what Glover Quinn had to do to make sure that wasn't a play action or a pass interference done? If he would have just turned around.
Pass interference. Defense number 29. Because the ball occurred in the end zone. The ball was placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
If he would have just turned around to look for the football, I don't believe this play is called. He's not making any kind of contact, but he didn't make a play on the football. There was slight contact. I still don't agree that there was enough contact for a pass interference, but he didn't turn to make a play on the football. A lot of times the referee will throw the flag just for that.
And again, the open backfield. They spread the field with the formation. Tim Tebow could have a false start, pre-snap penalty. See the game clock down to 3:13.
False start. Offense number 73.
Makes a big difference.
First down.
Well, that is a huge penalty. First and goal at the 1. That's a heck of a lot more desirable, a heck of a lot easier play call than first and goal at the 6.
So McCoy has orchestrated the offensive coordinator for the Broncos the game beautifully for his rookie quarterback. Let's see what the guys are going to blitz again. Left field to protect.
Well, Frank Bush, the defensive coordinator for Houston's got to go into his bag of tricks here.
Go to the end zone. Ooh. Incomplete. Coverage was very good on Eddie Royal. As the rookie #1 draft choice Kareem Jackson, number 25 from Alabama.
Well, as well as Tebow's been playing, that was almost a classic rookie mistake right there. He was baited into throwing this ball and almost cost his team. He was trying to complete that ball. That was not a throwaway. Fortunately, the ball was a little bit high for Eddie Royal.
Jackson from Alabama knows Tebow from Florida very well from their days in the SEC. Second and goal.
Quarterback draw.
3 wide receivers right. Tim Tebow turns the corner. He's going in. And the Broncos are an extra point away from taking the lead on Tim Tebow Day.
How about this guy? This was a designed play action fake to the front. You look, you see there's nobody here on the front side for Houston. The run fake to the right side. Tebow instinctively senses it and realizes that, well, these defensive linemen are fast, but number 92 Earl Mitchell for Houston is not as fast as I am.
The extra point is a huge one. And the Broncos take the lead for the first time, 24-23. And now Matt Schaub and the Texans ready to get the ball back. But all day they've been out without their all-pro wide receiver who was out with an injury. Andre Johnson couldn't go today.
Well, you know what the key to that play right there was, Don? Mark Anderson, the backside defensive end, lost his contain. Mike McCoy, very, very satisfied right there. Tim Tebow, he's firing up his teammates right now. Look at that. You can't coach that, Don. That's passion. He told us, Tim Tebow, we talked to him, he said, I believe that leaders know where they're going and how to get people to follow them.
Yeah, he said people want to follow it, a leader.
He said even if you have to fake it sometimes. He said, I'm not going to lie to you. I've had to fake it a few times. But if your teammates believe you.
But he said when you fake it a little bit, then you're pumped up yourself.
You can convince yourself. That's right. Well, Matt Schaub and Gary Kubiak and that Texans offense have got to step up here now. A loss after being up 17-0 in a game like this could be devastating for them.
But well, it's been Tebow in the second half. Let us not forget Matt Schaub is a sensational player. He's 19 of 26 today for 265 and a touchdown.
Well, as you mentioned, though, he's minus his #1 weapon in Andre Johnson.
But we also have to remember his field goal kicker is hit from 54 and 57, so a long-distance field goal could be in the offing to decide this game.
Don, that was a terrible decision by Steve Slayton to run that football out. It was 6 yards deep in the end zone. To try and run it out at this point in the game, you get hit at the 15-yard line.
How about the Bengals and the Chargers? Scoreboard is changing. Here's James Brown.
Don and Steve, Cincy adding to their pad. Bernard Scott, running back, up the gut, 10 yards to pay dirt. Cincy on top, 34-13 as San Diego lost their out. KC will win the AFC West. Don and Steve.
All right, James, and here is Sharp standing in, gets time, down the middle throw, comes in on the 1-hop, 2nd and 10. Looking at Jacoby Jones, who's made some big plays today for the Texans.
I don't know whether that ball was tipped or not, Don, but it sure looked like it the way it dove. Yeah, right there, the right arm. That looked like it was Justin Bannon. Got his right arm up there.
Either here or Williams. Somebody deflected it. 2nd and 10. And the decibel level is about as high as it gets. And it gets high in Denver. Terrific underneath throw. Schaub throws to tight end Joel Dreesen. A first down for the Texans.
That's a big play right there. You gotta do something to get your confidence back and your rhythm back. I'm not 100% sure Matt Schaub is feeling all that great after that one hit. I've seen him on the sidelines. Looks like he's a little bit foggy to me.
Another good throw over the middle. Again, they work the middle of the field with the tight end position. This time it's Owen Daniels. And the Texans keep getting yards. A 15-yard gain, down by 1. Their place kicker, Rackers, is hit from 54 and 57 yards on field goal tries today. Hit them both. Schaub again, underneath throw. Again, he goes to the tight end. Ball is out. Let's see if they rule it a catch or if he did not have total possession in the process. He did not in the process of catching the ball.
They're ruling it incomplete. That looked to me like it was a catch, just extending the ball to try and get an extra yard, and he lost control of it.
So we're down now to the 2-minute warning in Denver. There'll be no overtime today. We're going to have a winner. Back to Denver. Don Criqui with Steve Berline. Here's where we're at. 1:59 to play. The Texans, who led 17-0 at halftime, down by a point. Matt Schaub at quarterback from the shotgun. Broncos come with 4. Beautiful underneath throw and catch. Dreesen with a first down. Joel Dreesen in a drag pattern underneath. And he's ahead for a gain of 15 yards, and the Texans drive on.
Well, Don, I want to make a point here. That was Gary Kubiak made a decision not to challenge that last catch. I believe it was a catch, and I think he would have won the challenge. But I think in his mind, he calculated it was only a 4-yard gain. It was going to be 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 10. If there's any doubt, let's don't waste the challenge and a timeout possibly. Our quarterback can make a play for us. He did right there.
Blitzers come. Schaub swings it low. Open field tackle at the 39. Still have 2 downs to work with. You add the line of scrimmage on 17 yards from here. It will be a 56-yard field goal. And Rackers is hit from 54 and 57 today.
Yeah, they're
looking to get a lot closer.
They'd like to get about 15 or 20 yards closer for sure.
17, you add 7 for the hold, 10 for the 10 yards deep in the end zone. Tip ball, and the Broncos intercept off the hands of Owen Daniels. Paris Cox. Schaub walks off. Broncos take over the ball. And they're going to give it officially to Sidquan Thompson.
You don't think that this is a game of inches? Gary Kubiak trying to be conservative with a nice, safe throw. Owen Daniels wide open, but it was Brian Dawkins who came rushing up the middle, jumped up. I think the ball went off of his helmet and is intercepted. It was a safe call. It was the right call. It was going to pick up about 10 yards for the Houston Texans right there. And it ends up costing them the football game.
Still a 1:12 left to play.
That just shows you how look at that, right off of Brian Dawkins' head and over the top of Owen Daniels. There was nobody that was going to tackle Owen Daniels before picking up 10 to 15 yards. That's the way to use your head, Brian. Good job. The 15-year vet.
Cox and Thompson going for it. Thompson with the interception on the deflected ball. And now the ball at the 26-yard line, 2nd and 11. And the Broncos in position to win this game after they were down 17-0.
Well, Gary Kubiak thinking he's got one timeout left.
Now the Texans unable to stop the clock. Out of timeouts.
Well, they're out of timeouts. Excuse me. I thought they were sitting on one more.
Third down and 12 comes up, so they're still going to get the ball back, Steve. Well, maybe not. No, they'll.
No. It's third down. They take one more snap, and that's it. They don't have to punt it.
That's right. They won't have to punt it. They can run out the play clock and the game clock.
Now, what can you say about Tim Tebow?
Phenomenal.
Feel terrible for Matt Schaub, Gary Kubiak, and the Texans, but what a great display coming back from 17 points down.
Tim Tebow rallying his team back from 17 down at halftime to a 1-point victory, 24-23. And the Tim Tebow era in Denver well underway. That's a game ball he'll treasure. Final score, Denver 24, Houston 23.
And the game-winning touchdown by Tim Tebow.
He takes off and he goes in. That tied it, and the extra point gave him the lead. Quan Thompson comes up with the interception, stops Schaub's drive. Coming up next at the Subway postgame show for Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui saying so long from Denver. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll join James Brown in New York after this.